Good morning, everybody. This is Jack Gleason with MajorLeagueTrading.com. It is March 13th, 2019, Wednesday here, guys. It is about 15 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:15. The trend bias of the prior day and the economic reports we'll go over first. Before the bell at 7 a.m., we have NBA mortgage applications, 8:30, non-defense capital goods orders. And then after the bell, 10 a.m. construction spending, 10:30 we're going to have the crude oil stock change, and then at 1 p.m. 30-year note auction, or bond auction, I'm sorry. Trend bias, bullish ES, Nasdaq, neutral Dow, bullish Russell on the prior day. Overnight we're neutral in the four indexes. Shorter term time frame, bullish in the ES, Nasdaq, bearish on the Dow, bearish on the Russell. And on the midterm time frame, we are bullish ES, bullish on the Nasdaq, neutral Dow, neutral Russell, but the longer term time frame does remain bullish here. Let's move on to our previous day's summary for the S&P 500. I just want to make sure you guys give me a quick sound check, make sure you can hear me because I was having some problems this morning. So just go ahead and type in the Discord if you can, or the YouTube channel. I'm looking at both right now. The bell-to-bell high in the S&P 500 was 28.03 quarter. Bell to bell low down at 27.91. The settlement was 27.97 quarter, and the value area high level 2800 quarter, value area low 27.95. Point of control 27.95.75, and the European close 27.96. Volume on the session 1,132,000 contracts. Overnight high 28.02 half. It's now 28.06. Overnight low 27.88 quarter. Floor trader pivot point support and resistance levels. R4A 28.21 75. R3 28.15.
Order canceled.
R2 28.09, and R1 is in 28.03 quarter. The pivot point for the day comes in at 27.97 quarter. S1 27.91, S2 27.85, S3 27.78.75, and then S4A is down at 27.72.75. For our 10-day range analysis yesterday, guys, we had a pretty tight range, 12.25 points on the previous day. 21.75 was the median, 17.75 the entire session, 13.5 in the overnight, and 8 in the first hour. So we did have some range contraction here on the prior day. Index strength percentage change, Dow was the weakest, led by Boeing, which had an airplane crash, not good. Nasdaq up the strongest, and over the last 5 days, Nasdaq leads, Russell lags over a 10-day period. The only market really positive over 10 days is Nasdaq, so the other markets are down. S&P is a little flat. S&P is flat. So with that being said, let's take a look here at this index, or these indexes, talk about kind of what's going on. We are completing extensions here at the open. We obviously have a gap up situation. I will start off, everything is rallying. Gold is up, oil's up, S&P's up, Nasdaq's up, Dow's up, Russell's up. So I'll start with gold just because this is a halfway back that traded on Monday, went over it in the Monday night trade plan or video, and then yesterday talked about it in the morning. We completed these targets here in gold, and this is the first halfway back after a pretty big sell-off. I think we can possibly rally all the way up to 13.15 before finding any major resistance, and what that level will be is the full halfway back short, and it's very possible we go through that level, of course. Now with this halfway back getting through its negative 23% profit target, this high to high is now becoming valid, and you can see we already have a reaction off that 38% retracement. We already have a reaction off that 38% retracement. All right, moving on now to the Dow, which was the weakest market on the prior day on the back of the Boeing airplane crash. We've traded the full 50% retracement from last week's low to high. This is the only market that's got that full halfway back here. That gives us an upside target of 25,923 off of that. Okay. What we still need to be aware of is the old extension where I think we're eventually going to run up into. This extension broke in the Dow, but you know, for whatever reason, these markets, they broke their extensions, but I do still think they eventually complete. The higher time frame target is 26,590, that looks like 590. So I do think that completes, you know, possibly this month before the month is over. All right, moving on to the S&P 500, guys. Yesterday, change the study out, threw a Bollinger Band on. Yesterday we had this extension trade before the open, and then we came shy of completing profit targets. Okay, yesterday we were looking at the 2806 profit target. If you guys remember, we, for whatever reason, we failed to get up there. All right, we rotated back down, saw a little weakness into the close. There was some tradable shorts. We traded sideways for basically 4 hours, and then in the last hour we rotated down, got a retest here in the overnight session at 2786, just enough to scare some people. I was actually at the desk when this was trading last night. Had a really strong feeling we were going to bounce from here. And here we are. We are breaking out into the negative 23% profit target. I do anticipate, you know, open above this negative 23. I do anticipate 28.16.5 here to trade. So 28.16.5 I do anticipate to trade here. That would be like my upside target for the day in the S&P 500, and we could definitely rally larger than that, but what I would begin to look for is an entry from the extension to extension sequence after we complete 28.16. I'm gonna get rid of this drawing here, but you can see we're through this negative 23% profit target. First thing in the morning, this is going to be the aggressive draw that holds that open from Sunday night, that high to high, and you can see it's actually already held a 50% retracement here. I'm going to continue to look at that draw. All right, moving on to the Russell. The Russell, guys, ended up trading an extension from the high of Friday, so right before the close, to high. We had a 38% retracement test before the open. We made a new high. We retested upside targets 1556, and then above that we have 1576, and that 1576 still we could get really all the way up to 1648 before seeing any major selling pressure, and that's quite a ways away. That is quite a ways away right now. You know, it's like 90 points, so that's a pretty big move from here. All right, as far as a new entry, and these are really cleanly trending markets right now. Yesterday I think we had a little bit of a breather because we had a full trend day. The market absolutely stayed on highs. It could not or did not back off an inch on Monday, and that is not something we've seen in quite some time. Tuesday we spent consolidating, still in a bullish sequence, and then we're seeing the follow through of those shorts getting squeezed here today, and we can begin looking for those profit targets to complete. So just be aware where those profit targets are. I'm pretty confident that they will end up completing here today. All right, and then what do I need to go over? Dow did it. NASDAQ. All right, the NASDAQ draws a little different. The NASDAQ is the most bullish market on a 10-day period, 5-day period. It was the most bullish market yesterday. So the NASDAQ is the one that's getting those new highs. It was the only market to really break out aggressively over the prior day's high. We completed targets yesterday in the Nasdaq. That was the difference, right? So we actually completed the extension, and we can leave that old draw up. That extension completed a negative 23% profit target. We never pulled into a same anchor new high. Instead, there's this weird next halfway back. So that Sunday night high to high here has actually just traded in an extension. So we're going to go extension to extension here in the Nasdaq. So the S&P and the Nasdaq are the most bullish markets. What I would anticipate, we are going to get a full negative 23% profit target hit possibly today here. 73.02 is that larger level in the Nasdaq. 73.02 the Nasdaq. Let's see how close we are to the all-time high. Yeah, we're still pretty far away. But this negative 23 is going to come into play at 73.02, and then we'll most likely work our way up to the negative 61.8 at 74.48. And then oil, also in an extension sequence. We had the high, and this was mapped out clearly yesterday, the high from Friday to high, once to target, twice. Same anchor new high after the completion. We've just completed that target. So you can draw a same anchor new high here again. I'm going to wait a little bit to see what we do after the open. But what you would do, once we put that high in, you draw that same anchor to the new high. Whatever that high ends up being if we make one. Otherwise, we'll just pull back from here, guys. But that's all I got for this morning's trade plan. I do think it's a pretty good market here today, just based on these sequences. We have extensions in every single market, which is rare. Every single market has an extension, actually except the Dow, which has a nice big halfway back long with a nice big target. But definitely big bias for me to the upside here today. You guys know the targets, you know the levels. I'm going to continue to share this, but I do think really that we just continue to rally all the way up into 28.53. And as I said yesterday, I am long this S&P, and I am planning on holding all the way up for 28.53, assuming the trend continues to hold. Of course, I will adjust if I believe something changes, but right now, as long as we hold extensions, I will continue to hold. Everybody take care, have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you guys in the MLT Power Hour.